What is up? What is up, boxing fans? It is your man Sean Zattel holding it down as always here on FightHype.com, ready to come at you with another live round by round. This time it's Artur Beterbiev defending the unified light heavyweight championship belts, the world titles, WBC, WBO, and the IBF. Dmitry Bivol has that WBA belt. Of course, he knocked off Canelo Alvarez last year, but Beterbiev is the man with the belts. He's the lineal champ. He's the unified champ. He's the champ. So he gets ready to defend these belts in our main event tonight against Anthony Yarde. A lot of knockouts between these two. Only one knockout short of a 100% KO percentage between the two of them. But right now, actually, we got Jake Paul and Tommy Fury going head-to-head in the ring. And, a little WWE-like gamesmanship there. Jake Paul putting his finger in Tommy Fury's face and then them being separated with some shoving in the center of the ring. ESPN will be, broadcasting this stuff. And there's a legit fight that night in terms of a world title competition. Badu Jack will be fighting Ilunga Makabu for the WBC Cruiserweight title. But, this stuff, whether you like it or not, I had a commenter, Mr. Big O, actually, shout out to him if he's watching, who said, Sean, I'm a little surprised you're covering this stuff, and if you feel that way, I understand where you're coming from, and, I'd advise you to just skip any of the Jake Paul or influencer stuff and just stick with us on the legit world championship level boxing and guys who, went through the traditional amateur systems, then, just keep rocking with me on that. But, Jake Paul has made an impact in professional boxing, as a draw and as an undefeated prospect. And so, ESPN getting in on the action. All the big three have taken their slice of the Jake Paul pie now. And we're all hypocrites in this circus, right? Because here on Fight Hype, I've talked about Jake Paul. On all the major channels, they've talked about Jake Paul. DAZN had Jake Paul on their network. Showtime had Jake Paul on their network. And now ESPN is going to have Jake Paul on their network against Tommy Fury. So we're all ugly hypocrites, ain't we? So, but here we go. Oh, Sean, the Fight Shop team supports your channel. WM, shout out to the Fight Shop, man. Let the people know in the chat which location. I don't know if you guys have a couple of multiple locations. I think you might. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I've actually gotten a pair of gloves years ago, back in 2014. My man Radio Raheem lived in Hollywood, and he lived right by the Wild Card Gym. I might have gotten a pair of gloves at the Fight Shop if you have one in Hollywood over there by, the Wild Card. Black Fonz, what's up, brother? Thank you for the shout-out. Happy to have you in here. Hey, buddy, can you add closed captions? I don't actually know how to do that abstraction, but that's a good suggestion. I'll get on seeing if we can make that happen for you. I think that'd be great for you guys. What channel is the fight on? Oscar Rivas, another one of our regulars. Shout out to you, Oscar. Channel is on ESPN Plus. So if you have ESPN Plus, go for it. We got maybe the best commentary team in the game in terms of television broadcast. Tim Bradley, Andre Ward, the two Hall of Famers with Bernardo Osuna. But your boy Sean is the best at it. In the YouTube world and the interwebs, let's say. HBP Patel says that Beterbiev smokes Yarde. Well, I think I do think that's a likely scenario because Yarde is a front foot fighter. In terms of when he gets his best offense off, he's not a guy who's going to walk into a whole lot of shots or counterpunch that much. He's a guy that when he's on the front foot, he could put together some good combinations to the body and finish up to the head. Good puncher, 22 knockouts and 23 wins. So I think it'll be fireworks. Stylistically, this fight shouldn't go 12 and it should be fireworks, and you got to favor the champion, Beterbiev. But, Andre Ward on the telecast before, I can't help but look at some of the antics between Paul and Fury here. But, good thing, I guess. Good thing my screen didn't show the footage, but yeah, you got to favor Beterbiev. But Andre Ward, before the telecast, was saying that, in the first 6 rounds in particular, this is a dangerous fight for Artur Beterbiev because Anthony Yarde is a puncher, and that lesser talented fighters than Anthony Yarde have dropped Artur Beterbiev in the past. Callum Johnson and another fighter that escapes me right now have put him on the canvas. So, he's made a rock. Guy punches like a rock, but sometimes he's he's hit the canvas. So now, since becoming a champion, he's been harder to hurt because Alexander Vazdik, very good fighter, had good pop in his punches, wasn't a knockout artist. He couldn't keep Beterbiev off to save his life. So Beterbiev, has been fighters tend to get better as champions. Not always, but some of them tend to get better as champions, and I think Beterbiev has gotten better as a champion his last couple fights. Will I am saying Eagles and 83 Devil Dog Eagles. All right, we're not having that. You guys know what time it is. The 49er faithful. I don't want to act like I'm a tough guy. I won't say bang bang Niner gang. But I am the 49er faithful. And it's going to be a tough game for my San Francisco 49ers. We're on the road, losing those early games to the damn Bears and Broncos and the Falcons. That bit us in the ass because now we got to go to the Link over there in Philly. Philly got a better quarterback, but we're the Niners. Or they're the 49ers. I'm not on the team, obviously, but I got to still go with the 49ers. Iron Stealth 2.0, are you commentating on the fight? Absolutely. We are just getting ready and all warmed up for main event time. Beterbiev against Yarde. Main event set to start soon. Ring walks scheduled for 12 minutes from now. Let me pick up a little bit of what Tim Bradley's saying here on the broadcast. But so Tim, we will see what happens here. Love your channel, says 83 Devil Dog. Appreciate it, brother. When does the fight start, says Chechen Boars 95. We should be getting ready for ring walks around 2:30 West Coast time, so about 10 to 12 minutes here. It's too bad I got on so late, guys, because we missed my commentary on the great Daryl Sharp. Daryl Sharp, who fell to 7 wins and 97 losses on the undercard, but gave a good defensive performance despite dropping every round in a clean sweep 6-round loss. But Daryl Sharp, I want to say this about Daryl Sharp, who went 7 and 97 tonight. Daryl Sharp was proof positive that you can find something positive to say about any man or woman that steps in the ring, because his defense was kind of good. He didn't get touched too much through 6 rounds against 3-0 Fletcher. So, you know what I mean? We gotta give a little props even to even guys that just proof positive. All jokes aside, that even a guy who's got less than 10 wins and nearly 100 losses can still find something positive to say about just about any fighter that steps through the ring. So shout out to Daryl Sharp. Jeremiah, what's your prediction? I gotta go with Beterbiev. I got to go with Beterbiev by stoppage at some point in this fight, inside of 10 rounds. I think Yarde can be dangerous early in this fight, but ultimately, his Floyd Mayweather impersonation is better on offense than it is defense. And a muscle-bound guy, a little stiff on defense. I don't think Yarde's problem is going to be landing on Beterbiev. I think it's going to be defensively. And I think Beterbiev is the kind of guy you just can't afford to have that many defensive lapses and leaks against. Some guys bring too much force for the human body to take, no matter how tough you are. And Beterbiev is that guy. If you let him land on you consistently, round after round, you won't be standing for 12 of them. Now, the chance is that Yarde will exchange with Beterbiev. Might have a little bit faster hands, younger guy. Throws some good shots to the body and to the head. Maybe he can catch Beterbiev in the exchanges in the first half of this fight, rock him, and shock the boxing world. Not out of the question, but I got Beterbiev by stoppage inside of 10 rounds. I don't think Yarde defensively will be able to hold up. I expect him to have some moments offensively, but Beterbiev, you can touch him up, but fundamentally sound with the defense, with the high guard, not a whole bunch of head movement, but underrated feet by Beterbiev, as he showed in the Joe Smith fight. So I got to go with Beterbiev. So let's see here. Rob says, Sean, need your own channel. I'll subscribe. I appreciate the support, brother. Peace on the Sabbath to everyone, says Yahoo. Yep, no doubt about that. Well said. And he said, love, Sean. Appreciate you, Yahoo. Appreciate that. Hope I'm saying it right. No, it's Y-A-H-U. Right. Why start at 0 when he's already got 1 million to draw from? Right. That's a hell of a lot of work that I would never really want to put in. And, I love the platform we got here, but do love the support from you, brother. Has the main event started, says Joe Gonzalez. No, not yet, Joe. We're now probably less than 10 minutes from ring walk time. As soon as fight starts, no more chit-chat, and we'll get right to the action, calling the fight as if it was calling the fights on the radios back in the day in the Marciano Joe Louis days. And we'll call the action right down the middle. Clarence Peter says, Sean, Yarde has too much muscle on him, which gasses him in the later rounds. I mean, I'm not a strength and conditioning expert, but yeah, that's what I've been led to be told by guys like Coach Larry Wade. The more muscle you have, the more muscle mass, the more work the body has to do in pumping oxygen to those blood cells, and thus, tires itself out quicker. So I believe that's how it works. It's what's been told to me by people who actually know what they're talking about that stuff. But Yarde's explosive, and throws some compact shots. Again, you could tell the guy really loved Floyd Mayweather. I mean, it looks like he studied Floyd and just about nobody else. I'm sure that's not true, but that's almost what it looks like when you watch him. And he throws good shots on that front foot, but again, defensively and getting out of the way of shots and counter punching and fighting off the back foot, I haven't seen enough of him at the elite level to befuddle Beterbiev's aggression. I think it's going to be two lions probably meeting head on, and I expect Beterbiev to get the better of that, but it should be fun to watch. Yahoo says, I got Yarde. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. You got Anthony Yarde. I almost want to share with you guys a hilarious video. There's a video of my son out there cheering for Anthony Yarde. If you look up 3-year-old Anthony Yarde fan, but Beterbiev might get robbed, says I don't think it's going to the cards, so I don't think that's going to be particularly an issue tonight on the cards. Let's see, between the two of them, 41 victories with 40 knockouts, and one guy and Yarde has stamina issues. I don't see this fight going 12 rounds, so I don't think judges are going to be an issue. So we will see. It sounds to me like Andre Ward and Tim Bradley having a little bit of a disagreement in studio out here in Vegas. Andre telling Tim, I know you want to turn this into first take. It sounds as though Dre and Tim are having a little bit of a disagreement in giving Yarde his proper respect and his chance of pulling this off right now. Andre telling Tim Bradley, I know you want to turn it into first take. And wait, sorry fellas, I gotta enjoy Tim and Dre's back and back here for a second. Yarde will shock the world by making it to the 4th round, says Handsome Jack. He wouldn't shock the world by that. Start time, please. Start time is, again, ring walk set for in about 5 minutes. So main event calling the action should be underway in about 15 minutes, I'll say. Slim Reaper 256. Bradley been a little extra lately. I love Tim. I love what he brings to the broadcast because usually you got to pick between one or the other, entertainment or knowledge. And when you can get someone who's really great at both, Roy Jones was that way, George Foreman was that way. Tim Bradley is bringing that to the table, and it's not always about whether you like it or not. It's about making you feel something. The worst thing to get from the audience is indifference. So Tim is making people feel something each broadcast, whether you agree with him or whether you disagree with him. Me personally, I think it's immature of adults to say, I don't agree with everything he says. Well, of course, you should never agree with everything anyone ever says. We're all different people who eventually are not going to see eye to eye on some things, but that shouldn't mean you don't, respect and value their opinion and their credibility, which certainly Tim Bradley has. So I love what Tim's been bringing to the table. I think he brings a great blend of the entertainment value and then the credibility and the knowledge of boxing. So I think, I like it. And then, it can't always be, kissing ass. Someone's got to be able to say, I think a lot of times what the fans are feeling. I think a lot of times Tim is saying what a lot of the fans are feeling. Maybe not. Maybe half of what the fans are feeling. The other half think he's totally wrong, but that's my thoughts on it. Lions in the camp, says Lost Boy. Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. That's for That's for the Anthony Yarde fans out there. Lions in the comp. Let's go. We don't get weak, we get deep. Lions in the comp. Lions. Samantha. I think I heard my wife back there. I almost want her to come in and say, Lions in the comp. So, Tim in love with Jake Paul. That's not what I've heard him say in the past. I'd have to hear what he was saying just segment. Has Arthur Chin ever been tested? What's up, Sean? We met years ago, says King K-Roll. What's up, King K-Roll? Thank you for joining, man. Yes, been tested. He was dropped against Callum Johnson. I was at that fight with my man BT, the head of FightHype. We were actually watching that fight, I believe, together. I might be wrong. Or no, I might have been at that one alone for Jesse Vargas, Thomas Delorme. I was at one of those fights out there with my man BT, but might have been that one. But I was at that fight, and then he wound up getting up and scoring the knockout. So let's actually let me take a look at Beterbiev, and let me try and recall who was the other fighter that dropped him other than Callum Johnson. Let me see here. Okay. Man, was that... He fought two Johnsons, Alexander Johnson and Callum Johnson. Trying to find which fight. It was early in his career. And I can't find which fight. But yeah, he's been down in two separate bouts, but they were before he became a world champion. And so that's where he's at now. Let's see. The Russian dude before Callum. Okay, let me see. Lil Chewy. Appreciate you, Lil Chewy, for helping me out here. Doing me a solid. It wasn't Enrico Koling, was it? Doesn't sound Russian. Help me out there. Help me out there, Lil Chewy. The fact that Canelo did not fight Andrade and Benavidez, he avoided them all. I mean, you know, he became undisputed while, quote-unquote, avoiding them, so I can't really get at him for that. Dear sir, I have subscribed to your channel. Do I cover all major fights? Indeed, we do, brother. HBP Patel, we cover all the major fights all around the world, not just the United States. But, you know, we'd be covering Charlo versus Tim Tszyu tonight if that fight hadn't been called off. I actually have an interview with Tim Tszyu set to drop soon. I talked to him yesterday before he left Las Vegas. He had a final workout before he went back home to fight March 12th against Tony Harrison. Interim WBO world title on the line. He was disappointed that he was ready to fight for Charlo, but honestly, I think Tim was afforded a better opportunity by facing Harrison because there was a vast gap in experience against top opposition between Tim and Jermell Charlo. And now getting in with Tony Harrison, if he can get past Tony Harrison, that'll have done wonders for him catching up in that experience and IQ. And I do think Tim Tszyu will win that fight against Tony Harrison. We know Tony is a hell of a boxer, fast hands, incredibly smart guy in the ring, and could be a great trainer too. But he is a guy that fades in the second half of fights, and I think Tim Tszyu's intelligent pressure, his punching power, his youth, his toughness will be able to get to Tony in the second half of that fight. But he'll have to walk through a lot of shots. He'll have to walk through more than he did against Terrell Goucher when he fights Tony Harrison. So that won't be an easy fight, but I do expect Tim Tszyu to win that fight at home. Let me see. Lil Chewy says he honestly thought Tim needed one or two more fights. Yeah, and he's getting the perfect kind of opponent in Tony Harrison that he needs. He'll get a taste of the kind of speed Jermell Charlo brings to the table, a guy who can punch in combination off the ropes. What's going on in my live here for ESPN Plus? Let me refresh it here. Sorry, folks. The streaming era. All right, but it's a great step up in competition for Tim Tszyu to act. I think it only can help his chances in the Charlo fight, which he was definitely a solid underdog in heading into it. I think he'll still be an underdog after Tony Harrison, but I think his chances go up. So it's a blessing in disguise for him that he didn't get the Charlo fight first. When will Beterbiev fight start? Very soon. Any moment now. BHAT, BHAT, any moment now. We're getting ready for the main event. Right now, ESPN is finishing their final feature packages on Beterbiev. Yarde hasn't got a good 12-round engine. He'll be gassed by rounds 8 to 9. Stoppage win for Artur, says Sean Dog. Plant versus the Mexican Monster, asked the Bronco Kid. Who do I got? I got Benavidez, but David can't come in overconfident. You can never come in overconfident. Confidence, even bordering on cockiness, of course, is a good thing, but can't come in overconfident, which can lead to being lackadaisical. And then when you're in the fight of your life, when you're in a tough fight, it's mentally harder to be locked in for that when you underestimated or were overconfident. But anyways, I think David will have to learn on the job as that fight goes along in the center of the ring. He won't be able to just stalk Caleb and get him to the ropes repeatedly and wait. The fight can get away from him that way. David has fast hands and a good jab. He'll have to box with Caleb when Caleb forces it early on to be a boxing match and he has his fresh legs and keeps the fight in the center of the ring. David can't let the fight get away from him and give away too many rounds or just look to stalk and get to the ropes. David's going to have to let those hands go in the center of the ring too. It's okay if Caleb gets off to a solid start in the first 2 rounds or so, but he can't let it get away from him too much in that first half. But I see David getting to Caleb in the second half of the fight and getting a stoppage. But Caleb's got a great trainer and looked very good against Anthony Durrell. I know that's an older guy, a faded guy, but Caleb Plant, I think, brings a different level of confidence and edge to the ring against David than he did against Canelo, who was a guy he watched and admired as a prospect, as a fighter. David is his contemporary. He doesn't look at him with that same kind of awe that he did with Canelo. So I still expect Benavidez to pull that fight out. Bigger guy, better puncher, can match the hand speed. We'll see if he can match the skills. And the foot speed, too, should be an issue. But I think David could still win that fight and will win that fight. Let's see here. Caleb has no chance, says Teddy Brunkshot. I wouldn't say that. And then right before you, Ellie K disagrees with you and says Plant is the much better boxer and David has nothing but size on his side. I wouldn't say that. David might actually have faster hands than Caleb. They're both fast. They both have good speed. But David, as a combination puncher, putting together 4, 5, and 6, is faster than Caleb. But there's 2 different types of speed. Pacquiao was faster than Floyd Mayweather when it came to combination punches, 4, 5, and 6. But single shot speed or 2-shot speed is different than that. And sometimes that's the better speed to have because you can't open up with 4, 5, and 6 when the other guy's getting off first with 1 and resetting your rhythm, or he's countering you with 1 or 2. So when you're trying to shoot off 4, 5, and 6, you get stopped abruptly at 1 and 2 and 3. So Caleb might have that 1 or 2 shot single speed on David, and I definitely think David has the combination punching hand speed on Caleb. We'll have to see. Inoue and Fulton, I got Inoue. I got Inoue because I like Fulton a lot. I thought that was a 50-50-ish fight. Once it got signed, my gut had to lean towards Inoue. He is at home, so it'll be tough for Fulton to win a decision. If he does win that fight, he's going to have to win it by decision, you would think. Sorry, I'm still getting some streaming problems, damn it, here and there. But Fulton is a hell of a boxer. If he's not top 10 pound for pound, he's certainly top 15. He's the natural 122. Inoue's never seen a boxer like Fulton, but there's no one like Inoue, at 118, 122. Inoue has that Pacquiao factor to him a little bit, where you can touch him, you can make him look defensively flawed, you could walk him into shots, you could be doing good things for 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 120 seconds, maybe the whole round, maybe 2 whole rounds. But his bursts, his waves that he comes with, his aggression of power and speed, the mixture of it, putting it together, it inevitably overwhelms guys, even really good fighters. And I think he's got a little bit of that in him, like Pacquiao did, where he can offset all that good work you're doing in just 20 to 30 seconds with a burst. And I think Inoue will get outboxed for spots in that fight. He'll be walking into shots. He'll be getting his head knocked up. He'll be getting outboxed. But when he's able to land effectively on Fulton, it'll be a big difference in the damage it doles out to each fighter. So anyways, here we go. Main event time. And Dane Sampson, Foster versus Vargas. Hold that thought for after the fight. That's a good fight. That's a closer fight than I think the odds have it. Foster's a naturally bigger guy than Ray Vargas. So here we go, main event time. Here comes Anthony Yarde to the ring. The Lions in the camp. Here he comes, fighting in front of a home crowd, sold out home crowd. Looking very relaxed and composed, coming to the ring, calm. And cool, calm and collected, but not too cool for school. Got a good sweat worked up, does Anthony Yarde. Definitely got some star quality to him. Singing along to his entrance music. And Anthony Yarde looks good coming to the ring. I'm expecting Beterbiev to come in with that stone cold Russian, ice in his veins kind of demeanor to the ring. But Anthony Yarde being himself, cool, calm, and collected, air of confidence as he gets ready to get in the ring. And again, got a good sweat built up, not getting into the ring cold, which is oh so important. Like the great George Foreman would, point out in every HBO telecast back in the day, you can't get in that ring cold. Got to come in with a sweat warmed up. He beats his chest a little bit to the audience, and now he steps through the ropes, 23-2, 22 knockouts. Anthony Yarde, good draw at home, partly why, of course, the fight is at home. And we're set for this action to start now. The champion is set to make his ring entrance now. And then we'll call this action. So yeah, Anthony Yarde in there. Cool, calm, and collected. Moment doesn't look too big for him. Looks ready to be himself. We'll see if that's enough. And now BT Sport, ESPN Plus, getting ready to bring in the WBC, WBO, IBF 38-year-old, unified light heavyweight champion of the world, the 100% KO percentage, the stellar amateur background, beat Sergey Kovalev twice in the amateurs, dropped Alexander Usyk to the body when they fought as amateurs. Once again, he comes doing his Islamic prayer. He did that in the dressing room. He did that at the press conference. A deeply devout Muslim is Artur Beterbiev, from that region of Russia where many of the fighters and many of the men and women there practice Islam, close to Dagestan where Habib Nurmagomedov is from. And so yes, Artur Beterbiev coming to the ring, again mouthing those Islamic prayers to himself, serious as a man can be heading to his work. A BMF, a scary guy to have to stand across the ring from. But Anthony Yarde has shown no fear in the lead up to this fight, and we'll take a look. We'll play armchair psychologist once we get to face-off time. Anthony Yarde not making eye contact right now with Beterbiev, looking out at his supporters at the crowd. Beterbiev jumping up and down in his corner, bouncing up and down with his black robe. Now he takes that hood off, and he's got a good sweat worked up too. Towel underneath his robe to keep him warm. Anthony Yarde bouncing in his corner to stay warm. And this should be two lions tearing into each other. Stylistically, this should not be for the faint of heart. This should be fun to watch, and I don't see it going past 10 rounds, and that might even be being generous. So we'll see. Anthony Yarde loves, of course, to say lions in the comp, lions in the comp. Well, this should be two lions tearing into each other. Both fighters still pacing around the ring. Man, we got Beterbiev versus Yarde live spamming in the chat. Does arena look packed, says Iron Stealth. Yep, sold out crowd. Sold out crowd overseas. He is Chechnyan, bro. Thank you, Don Uchila. I don't mean to sound so ignorant. I appreciate you correcting me on that. Sounding like an ignorant American on this stuff a little bit, but you guys know what I'm saying. Beterbiev is different. Boylo2492 says, Beterbiev is just built different. Grew up in a war zone. He wins tonight. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean he wins tonight, but, I catch your drift. He's a man made of steel, mentally and physically. So, 3 judges tonight. We got a judge from France, the United States, and Korea. Yep, British Boxing Board of Control sanctioning this fight. Javier Sanchez says Beterbiev wins with the 8th round stoppage. All right. Both guys getting their bounce in their corners. And we're just ready for this action to start here. Heavyweight, Wilder versus Ruiz. Who wins? I got to go Wilder. Although maybe Ruiz is doing himself some favors lately by boxing more. Ruiz, I expected him to fight like the Mexican fighter, be on the front foot, cut the distance against Luis Ortiz, but he knew Luis Ortiz was looking to counterpunch that style, and Andy kind of showed a wrinkle to his game. He wasn't active, but he scored 3 knockdowns and was patient and boxed a lot. And maybe that's the style that's going to suit him better against Wilder, because if he tries to just cut the distance against Wilder and duck underneath the right hand, there's only but so many times he could do that before Wilder would touch him. I got to go with Wilder, but interesting that Ruiz has been fighting a more cautious, patient style lately. That might actually help him against Wilder, even though it hasn't been as fun to watch as the style we're used to watching him in. So, Yarde finished with his introduction, and now the champion getting derobed. Artur Beterbiev, made of rock. Doesn't have the kind of mass that Anthony Yarde does. Really, nobody does at 175. Close to a bodybuilder type physique for Anthony Yarde, but he has slimmed some. He's not quite he has lost some of that unnecessary bulk. That's still his body type. That's still who he is. He was a late starter to boxing. Didn't have a big amateur career, but blessed with some talent and some punching power and explosiveness. And so here he is at 23 wins, 22 knockouts, 2 losses. But Beterbiev getting his introduction finished up now. And we'll be ready to call this action once the bell rings. Again, we will see, Maybe for all we know this does go 12, but I don't see it coming. Interested to see if Anthony Yarde empties the clip in the first 6 rounds. If he's willing to go toe-to-toe with Beterbiev, trust his defense in the pocket and in the exchanges. Here we go in face-off time. Artur Beterbiev still mouthing his Islamic prayer, and Anthony Yarde stares right into him, right to his soul. Both fighters meeting eyes at the stare down, and they touch gloves, and here we go. Round 1 set to start for the unified light heavyweight championship of the world. Undefeated Artur Beterbiev taking on fellow big puncher Anthony Yarde, who for the second time in his career will attempt to become a world champion, both times against fighters from Russia. First time came up short against the faded Sergey Kovalev, but tonight looks to beat the unified champ as he's at the top of his game. Here we go, round 1. Yarde a little more jittery with his body language, falls short with his jab, and Beterbiev lands his jab to start twice. Beterbiev trying to back Yarde up with the jab a little bit. Now Yarde steps into his jab, falls a little short. Yarde keeping his left hand up a little bit more than we're used to seeing. Not starting right away in that shoulder roll. That left hand is up to start. Beterbiev keeping his hand up too. Yarde trying to start with a jab to the body. Takes some half steps back. Now Beterbiev getting Yarde close to the corner. Yarde landing a jab as Beterbiev stepped in with a hook. Good jab for Yarde there to offset that hook of Beterbiev. Beterbiev stepping to Yarde, Yarde stepping over to his right. He's not in that corner. He's keeping in the center of the ring. Now he's to the ropes. Falls short with a check hook. Lands a check hook the second time, though, does Anthony Yarde. Now he steps in and lands a jab and is back into the center of the ring. Shoots a straight right hand through the center guard of Artur Beterbiev for Yarde. Now Beterbiev gets him to the ropes, lands a jab to the body, but Yarde gets back into the center of the ring and lands a jab to the body to reestablish his position in the center of the ring. Nice check hook by Anthony Yarde as Artur Beterbiev tried to reach with a right hand. He got countered with a left hook by Yarde as he stepped out. Yarde feinting a little bit, feinting in and out of range with that lead hand. Now he drops that lead hand to his waist. Pause with the jab. Back is near the ropes. He steps off to his right to get back into the center of the ring. Now he's just pawing with his punches and Beterbiev jabbing to the body. Beterbiev waiting on Yarde now. And good right hand, left hook lands for Anthony Yarde with Beterbiev coming in, and it makes Beterbiev retreat a little bit and reset to the center of the ring. So Yarde touching up Beterbiev a little bit. Now Yarde pulling away, almost got clipped with that right hand on his way out, but pulled away from it. Chopping right hand, just missed there for Artur Beterbiev. Yarde doing a good job this round of staying in the center of the ring so far. Beterbiev the aggressor, but he's got touched a little bit. Now Yarde falls short with a left hook right hand and gets touched by a jab. Beterbiev trying to land a left hook and then a right hand over the top. Decent defense by Anthony Yarde early. Oh, Beterbiev missing with a right hand as Yarde slipped that shot on the ropes and landed a jab. Yarde back in the center of the ring now. Yarde with good defense early on. Some improvements in that area for round one. Again, he touches Beterbiev with a left hand and escapes the corner as Beterbiev misses his shot. Now he sticks a jab through the center of Beterbiev's guard. Not landing flush, but getting it in there a little bit there. Beterbiev a little frustrated maybe in round one. Yarde touching. 10 seconds left, just touching with the lead hand in the center of the ring. Beterbiev jabs and forces Yarde back near the ropes. Now he shoots a right hand to the body. Good right hand to the body by Beterbiev, and he lands a short left hand with Beterbiev or with Yarde along the ropes. Jabs him to the ropes, so a decent 10 seconds at the end for Beterbiev, but Anthony Yarde stares him down as he goes back to his corner. I'll give that first round to Anthony Yarde, able to box well on the back foot, able to touch Beterbiev up a few times coming in, checked him with the hook a couple times, touched him with his lead hand a couple times, and did a good job of not staying on the ropes too long and being able to reset position in the center of the ring. I'll go ahead and give that first round to the challenger, Anthony Yarde, 10-9. 10-9. What do we think, chat? Yarde did look good in that first round. He did look a little technically sharper than maybe we've seen in the past in terms of defense, but he is tense there in the corner. He knows that it's a long fight, and it's going to get much tougher than it was in round one, but he did what he had to do in round one. He won the round. Here we go, round two. Beterbiev stalking, coming forward on that front foot. CompuBox saw a 10-9 land advantage for Beterbiev, but 38 shots to just 27 thrown for Yarde. So Yarde a little bit more active, and the punches just about even. Now Beterbiev increasing his pressure. Yarde, his back near the ropes, and he throws some shots off the ropes. Not accurate with it, and makes Beterbiev reset in the center of the ring. But Beterbiev, good with his feet, is starting to already close the distance now. Yarde, near the ropes, dips underneath, but got clipped by the right hand a little bit of Beterbiev. Now he eats a left hook from Beterbiev as he backs straight up near the ropes. That left hook didn't get in perfectly clean, but it did clip the chin a little bit of Yarde. So Beterbiev off to a better first minute in round two than he started in round one. Yarde taking little half steps back, but this time his check hook is blocked by the right hand of Beterbiev as Beterbiev steps in. Now a double jab from Yarde, and he tries to hook off the jab, but it's blocked. Now he takes it to Beterbiev, steps to him on the front foot. Beterbiev backing up, a little bit of redness around that left eye of Beterbiev. Good jab from Yarde, splits the guard. Now Beterbiev back on the front foot, stalking Yarde. Yarde taking little half steps back, gets his check hook blocked, shoots a left hook, straight right hand. It misses, but doing enough to keep Beterbiev busy. And now a hook to the body lands for Yarde. And he steps off, moves to his left, moves back to his right. Jab, right hand lands for Beterbiev, and an uppercut with Yarde on the ropes. Beterbiev landing his first heavy shots. Yarde instinctually exchanging to drive Beterbiev off. Yarde holding his own in the exchange, but Beterbiev getting the better of it. Now Beterbiev lands a right uppercut. Yarde throwing get-off-me punches in the corner. Yarde is cornered. He eats a jab. He eats another jab. He's trying to stay sharp defensively and throws the left hand to reset and get out of that corner. Now he moves to the right and is still back, still along the ropes. Beterbiev keeping him near the ropes. Good right uppercut lands for Yarde. Yarde shooting that right uppercut to drive Beterbiev off. He misses the right uppercut this time, and Beterbiev lands his jab in the center of the ring. Beterbiev, little steps towards Yarde. Yarde trying to walk him into something, and Beterbiev showing enough respect not to come in reckless there. Back in the center of the ring. Yarde backing up a little bit now towards the ropes. Steps off to his left. Good jab to the body by Beterbiev. Yarde on the ropes, eats a jab, knocks his head up, and they fall into the quick clinch, but they separate quickly. Now Yarde with a good straight right hand with Beterbiev coming in. He goes back to his jab, does Yarde, to back him up into the center of the ring. Beterbiev shooting in a right uppercut after getting underneath a straight right hand of Yarde, but now Yarde places his jab in well against Beterbiev. Final 10 seconds. Oh, they exchanged right hands, and Yarde almost got hit with that right hand, but got out of it just in time. And that's it for round 2. That's a round for Artur Beterbiev. He upped his work rate there, threw more punches that round, and was able to touch Anthony Yarde with a couple of uppercuts there that got Yarde's attention. But Yarde kind of instinctually, let his hands go in combination. Didn't just go into prevent defense there and let Beterbiev tee off. And it did enough. Oh, good left hook actually landed in that exchange by Anthony Yarde when you check the slow-mo. Right uppercut showed on the replay by Anthony Yarde as well as a headbutt. I thought Beterbiev did enough to still take that round, but Yarde held his own. Good jab landing for Beterbiev on the slow-mo by ESPN. So here we go into round 3. I got this fight 1 round apiece even. Round 1 to Yarde, round 2 to Beterbiev. Here we go. Beterbiev is underrated with his feet. He'll take steps out of range, but then he'll get right back to pressure just a couple of moments later. But he won't just keep coming in to be predictable. 16 punches landed through 2 rounds to 14. Advantage by 2 punches for Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde letting his hands go with Beterbiev stocking in the first 20 seconds. And some good combinations by Anthony Yarde. Beterbiev kind of making him throw what you call get-off-me punches. Now he lands 3 hard jabs against Anthony Yarde to back him straight up. So Beterbiev making Yarde kind of throw what you say get-off-me punches, which is, you're throwing the shots to keep the guy off. You're not just placing them and fighting at your pace. You're being sped up. And that's what Beterbiev did to Yarde there to start this round. Yarde impressing me. Props to him. Says Matt's Adventures. Thank you for the 5 Matt's Adventures. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, Yarde's holding his own early, but now Beterbiev getting more accurate with that jab here in the 3rd to start. And Beterbiev landing the jab to the body. He's landed his jab a couple times this round in the first minute of the 3rd. Beterbiev getting trickier with his feet a little bit. Coming in, lands a right hand to Yarde's body, and Yarde misses the 2 counter shots after it. Now Yarde sticks a jab to Beterbiev's body. Beterbiev coming back with 2 accurate jabs up top. Yarde starting to feel that pressure a little bit. You can sense from the body language. Jab lands for Beterbiev. Yarde along the ropes tries to touch with the hook, and Beterbiev keeping that right hand up. Now Beterbiev lands a straight right hand. Yarde back on his jab, trying to step to Beterbiev a little bit. Beterbiev comes back with the jab to the body. Straight right hand falls short for Anthony Yarde in the center of the ring. Jab falls short. Beterbiev coming back with his jab to the body. Places it well to the stomach. Yarde gets his lead left hook blocks in the center of the ring. Yarde getting backed up. Beterbiev landing his jab. Now Yarde lands his jab back. Beterbiev comes in with a jab, and Yarde gets his right hand counter smothered over the top. Now a double jab by Yarde and a right hand to the body. Good body shot by Anthony Yarde off the jab. Jab lands for Beterbiev. 2 body shots by Anthony Yarde in the center of the ring, but Beterbiev storms right through them. Another good right hand to the body, and Yarde tries to bring a left hook up top after landing the right hand to the body. Double jab by Anthony Yarde. Straight right hand by Yarde, but he gets countered with a straight right hand by Beterbiev. Good double jab, triple jab by Anthony Yarde in the center of the ring. Upping his work rate. Oh, little touch right hand over the top of Yarde's jab lands for Beterbiev. Guys fighting in the center of the ring right here. Good action. Double jab for Beterbiev. Backs Yarde into the ropes. Yarde falling short with the jab off the ropes. Falls short with the left hook off the ropes. Gets countered a little bit. Now the jab lands for Beterbiev to knock Yarde's head up. Yarde missing the straight right hand as Beterbiev smothers it, but good jab to the body by Anthony Yarde. Oh, but Beterbiev comes back with a jab up top to knock that chin up, and Beterbiev's jabs are visibly moving that head of Anthony Yarde. Oh, check left hook, or lead left hook by Anthony Yarde, but Beterbiev takes some of the oomph on it, but good right hand to the body. Oh, hard left hook by Beterbiev. Yarde felt that, and his legs are a little wobbly heading back to the 3rd round. Yarde felt that left hook, and he is landing and touching up Beterbiev a little bit, but not cleanly. Beterbiev is smothering a lot of those shots, taking a lot off of them, blocking a majority of the oomph off of them, and his jab began to land and land effectively against Anthony Yarde. Yarde held his own with the jab, landed some jabs that round, but Beterbiev is physically walking through anything Yarde lands, and Beterbiev more accurate with the jab, landing it, knocking the chin up, and then he finally got in that left hook at the bell that I definitely think got Yarde's attention. 29-28, Artur Beterbiev, 2 rounds to 1. Oh, thank you, Rufus Collins, saying he loves the commentary. Appreciate it. Boylo2492 saying Yarde's legs went stiff. It was a lead replay. It was a lead left hook. Yarde not getting that right hand up high enough to block it. Boom, landed right on the nose. And it got Yarde's attention. Here we go, round 4. Yarde getting backed up in the ropes to start. Beterbiev stalking him to start. Oh, big right hand lands for Artur Beterbiev. They traded straight right hands, and Beterbiev's got in. Yarde taking it like a champ. Left hook gets in for Beterbiev. Now the jab knocks Yarde's head up as well. Yarde trying to exchange right uppercuts, but a jab lands for Beterbiev and a sweeping right hand. Yarde is hurt along the ropes. Good combination punching by Artur Beterbiev. He placed the left hook to the body beautifully. Yarde showing heart, trying to exchange with his back on the ropes, but he's getting hammered on the ropes now. He fights off Beterbiev with 2 body shots, but Beterbiev resets his position behind the jab. Another jab for Beterbiev. Jab, does a left hook, blocks the counter shots by Yarde. Yarde still pinned on the ropes. Double jab for Yarde. Gives him a little space on the ropes. Straight right hand falls short for Yarde, but he's back in the center of the ring now. Fought his way off the ropes. But that was a good first minute for Artur Beterbiev. He battered Yarde along the ropes. Yarde back in the center of the ring now. Falls short with his jab. Beterbiev hits him with his jab. Beterbiev just out jabbing him. No question about it now. Oh, they trade right hands and both guys get their head off the line. If either one would have landed, that could have been trouble for the other guy. Straight right hand blocked by Artur Beterbiev. Jab blocked by Artur Beterbiev, but Yarde letting his hands go in the center of the ring. Now he gets backed up near the ropes. Yarde taking his first big breath. His mouth is starting to open up here in round 4. He lands a right hand to the body, but Beterbiev steps in and lands a good jab. Yarde with a right hand to the body again, but it's not doing enough to take juice out of Beterbiev's aggression. And Yarde, again, starting to fight with that mouth open. Jab lands for Beterbiev, but Yarde showing heart. He digs a right hand to the body. Now Yarde comes back with a right hand left hook and backs Beterbiev up. But Beterbiev not taking the full brunt of those shots. Now a straight right hand lands for Yarde, but he walks into a right hand. He tried to take the fight to Beterbiev, and he walked into a right hand, and he looks hurt. He looks stunned. Yarde covering up, slipping the uppercut, slipping the left hook. Still showing heart. Now maybe recovering a little bit. Misses a left hook, does Anthony Yarde. Legs maybe not all the way underneath him after walking into a right hand 15 seconds ago. Beterbiev showing he could walk you into a right hand and not just go after you and get you as an aggressor. 30 seconds left in the 4th. Jab to the body by Anthony Yarde, but his right eye is beginning to swell up from the accuracy of the jab from Artur Beterbiev. Oh, right uppercut, smothered by Beterbiev, but that could have been serious trouble by Yarde. Yarde trying to find the range on that right uppercut off the jab. Good left hook to the body by Artur Beterbiev. Yarde leans back in with his head, throws shots, but he's inaccurate. 10 seconds left in the round. Jab lands for Beterbiev and a right uppercut. Yarde's face swelling up now, beginning to show the wear and tear. Beterbiev shoots a right hand to the body, and Yarde tries to counter with a left hook, and he walks back to his corner. Confidence maybe beginning to wane. 39-37 Beterbiev. 3 rounds to 1. Beterbiev with a little reddened, a little marked up around his left eye as well. But Yarde showing the worse for wear of the facial tissue from the jab of Artur Beterbiev. There's that jab knocking his head clean up, and then a sweeping right hand right after it. That got the legs to wobble a little bit for Yarde. Oh, I appreciate it. Ed Tan saying your commentary's better than the live one. Respect. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. 3 rounds to 1. Not looking good for Anthony Yarde. That swelling is accumulating around his right eye. He's already taken some deep breaths in the corner, and it's not going to get any easier against this Russian monster who has a good gas tank even at 38 years old. All right, here we go. Round 5. Yarde going to have to... Oh, nice jab. Lifts up the head of Anthony Yarde. That lands for Artur Beterbiev to start the 5th. Beterbiev countering over the top of Yarde's jab with a right hand. Beterbiev, 26 landed punches that last 4th round. He's landed 42 shots over the last 2 rounds to just 24 for Anthony Yarde. So a competitive first 2 rounds, but the last 2 rounds have been clearly Artur Beterbiev's favor. Now Anthony Yarde getting a breather because of his mouthpiece. And it wasn't a punch that knocked the mouthpiece out. It's just fatigue. He's already looking fatigued. in the corner as he gets that rest break. Beterbiev looking fresh in the 5th, and they resume action. Here we go. Yarde on the back foot. Tries to paw with that jab twice and then hook off of it, but Beterbiev with good defense right now, good hand positioning in terms of blocking shots. Not going to move his head a whole lot, not a whole lot of upper body movement, but very educated feet and very good positioning with his gloves, blocking shots coming in. Ooh, good jab lands for Artur Beterbiev, and he stepped off to land that jab. That was good footwork to place his feet in to land that jab. Right hand lands for Anthony Yarde. That might have gotten Beterbiev's attention a little bit. That was the best shot I think Yarde's landed. Beterbiev is retreating a little bit after that right hand. But Yarde walking into a right hand, but he's staying on Beterbiev. I do think he got Beterbiev's attention with that right hand 15 seconds ago. They trade jabs. Yarde, I think, senses that he got him too, but he can't let this moment pass. Shoots a right hand to the body, does Yarde. Beterbiev gets his left hook blocked. Beterbiev lands a jab. Yarde slipping the next 2 jabs, staying in front of Beterbiev. Yarde doubling up his jab. Wants to set up something. Doubles up his jab again. He's stepping to Beterbiev. Beterbiev lands a jab with Yarde stepping in. Yarde still staying in the pocket. Staying in front of Beterbiev. Beterbiev maybe still not fully recovered from a little right hand that buzzed him almost a minute ago. But Yarde hasn't jumped on him to take advantage of it. Jab to the body for Yarde. Falls a little short. Jab lands for Beterbiev. Yarde staying on top of him though. Minute left in the 5th round. This is a close round. Now Beterbiev maybe has recovered, stepping to Yarde. Misses the sweeping right hand behind the jab. Yarde keeping it in the center of the ring, not forced on the... Oh, big right hand lands for Yarde! Beterbiev is shook up. I told you guys a right hand shook him up a minute ago. He's hurt. Beterbiev is hurt in the 5th by a straight right hand. Yarde misses the right uppercut. Beterbiev turns him into the corner. Yarde now back in the center of the ring. Beterbiev lands a jab, but he's not recovered. Right hand to the body for Yarde. Jab lands for Beterbiev. Yarde has his chance. Yarde not punching himself out like he did against Kovalev. Yarde with a left hook up top. Beterbiev still in retreat. Still hasn't recovered. Beterbiev smothering the left hook. Yarde dips a right hand to the body. Yarde misses a left hook. Beterbiev trying to counter with a right hand, and he lands it. Oh, right uppercut lands with Yarde in the corner. Yarde is hurt now. Left uppercut lands for Beterbiev. Beterbiev letting go of his combination. Another uppercut lands for Beterbiev. Yarde lands a right hand to finish that exchange, but Yarde might have let that round get away from him. I'll give it to Yarde because I think twice in the meat of that round, in the middle of that round, Yarde hurt him with 2 separate right hands. 3 rounds to 2, Artur Beterbiev, but Anthony Yarde came alive again in the 5th with 2 right hands that hurt Artur Beterbiev, and there's some swelling and some bruising around the left side of Beterbiev's face from those right hands. Boom! Big right hand right on the button from Anthony Yarde. He was short with the jab, he touched with it, and then boom, straight right hand and fell into the clinch right after it. He definitely got Beterbiev's attention, but in the final 10 seconds, Yarde was hurt and stunned himself, forced into the corner, right hand body shot, right uppercut, kind of like Tyson used to do. Sweep the right hand under the elbow and then bring the right uppercut up top to the head. That's what Beterbiev did with Yarde on the ropes, and he pounded on him to finish round 5. But I'll give Yarde the 5th. It was a close round, but I'll give him the 5th. Oh, bad. Now a cut under the left right eye of Anthony Yarde. Not just swelling, but a cut. 6th round. Yarde might want to just go for broke instead of get taken to deep waters here. Right hand lands over the top for Artur Beterbiev to start the 6th. Now a jab lands for Beterbiev. Yarde is winded but still dangerous and still has his heart. Bleeding from the right side of his face is Anthony Yarde. He might just want to go for it here. Double jab lands for Artur Beterbiev. But Yarde is still dangerous. Straight right hand, left hook. Beterbiev blocking it, but that right hand got in. The left hook was blocked. Yarde with a 2-piece to the body. He gets into phone booth range. He steps to Beterbiev with those 2 body shots. Yarde left hand at his waist. Backs out of range to make Beterbiev fall short. He resets right in front of him. Nice lead left hook by Yarde and a right hand to the body off the left hook for Anthony Yarde. Minute into the 6th round. Yarde is in this fight. Both guys have been hurt. Double jab by Anthony Yarde. Beterbiev has to shuffle his feet on the outside to step out of the way. Beterbiev shuffling his feet around in the center of the ring. Shoots a jab to the body. Beterbiev with some respect for Yarde's power that he didn't have for Vosdick or Joe Smith. No, nice little left hook lands for Anthony Yarde. They trade jabs. Beterbiev getting the better of it. He's got the better jab, but Yarde hasn't given up on his jab. He's had success with his jab as well. Got to keep jabbing with the jabber. Oh, good jab for Artur Beterbiev. But Yarde continues to step forward to Artur Beterbiev here. Yarde showing no retreat here in the 6th. Minute left in the 6th round. Yarde going to have to put some stuff together. It's been a close 6th round. Beterbiev, the jab, the best punch between the two. And Beterbiev winning this round with 50 seconds left. But it's Yarde on the front foot. Beterbiev backing away. Circles out to his right. 40 seconds left in the round. Yarde, cup falling off almost. Staying on top of... Oh, he eats a jab from Beterbiev. That jab. Sometimes when you're tired, the jab's your best friend. You step off, you use your movement, and you fight, and you just use the jab. And that's what Beterbiev's doing right now to kind of regain himself after getting hurt twice in that 5th round. He's just using his jab and some of his boxing skills. Oh, good counter left hook, catch and shoot by Artur Beterbiev. Knocked the sweat clean off of Anthony Yarde's face, but Yarde took it surprisingly well. And he tries to shoot a hard right uppercut in there, staying in the pocket after eating that left hook. Good whiskers by Anthony Yarde there. Right hand over the top. Landing a little bit partially for Artur Beterbiev. Kind of breaking that guard a little bit to end round 6. That's an Artur Beterbiev round. 4 rounds to 2, 58-56 on my card. But it's been a good, entertaining fight. It's been a good effort by Anthony Yarde. Got it 4 rounds to 2 for the champion. So good stuff. That jab of Artur Beterbiev, in between all these... Okay, so let's look at CompuBox. 144 power shot... 56 power shots landed for Artur Beterbiev, 52 for Anthony Yarde, but 45 jabs landed for Artur Beterbiev to 27 for Anthony Yarde. That's been the difference. Both guys have landed some good power shots, but when they're forced to who can get off first, who can beat the other guy, when they exchange their jab in the center of the ring, Beterbiev's had the better jab, and that's what's got him ahead in this fight. Both guys have been hurt. And here we go into round 7. We're now officially in the second half of this fight. Beterbiev landing 2 jabs on the front foot to start. And again, he's just been so accurate with that jab. It's been the difference. It's been the key for him between these two. Yarde trying to dig into the body right here. Landing a couple right hands to the body, but his left hook us up top are getting blocked. And Yarde not terribly accurate with those body shots. Some of them for sure getting in, but not a Canelo or a Tank Davis who really can knife you and place it under the elbow. But he's gotten some decent body work in for sure. He's dug in. Now they trade jabs as Yarde steps off. Yarde trying to hook off the jab there. Yarde step into Beterbiev. Left hand low. Shoots a hook off that low left hand and then a sweeping right hand off of it. Taking the fight to Beterbiev. Lead left hook lands for Yarde and a right hand to the body lands for Yarde off the lead left hook. Beterbiev is beginning to look fatigued as well. So now it's down to the dog. They're both a little fatigued. They've both been hurt. Yarde having a decent start to this 7th round. I think he's a little ahead. He's taking the fight to Beterbiev and getting off more active. Not fighting timid as Anthony Yarde. Taking it to the feared Russian champion. Good right hand to the body and they fall into a clinch. Almost halfway through the 7th. I think Yarde's got the advantage so far in the round. Oh, Yarde missing with a check left hook, but he pushes Beterbiev back with a straight right hand. Halfway through the round, Beterbiev looking a little fatigued. He landed a jab, but was happy to fall into the clinch. Yarde looking very mentally possessed and focused and hungry. Good jab lands for Yarde, and that left eye is starting to bleed and swell for Artur Beterbiev. Artur Betebiev fighting off the back foot, and Anthony Yarde eats a left hook he walks into and rubs his chin to say, come on, bring some more. Anthony Yarde fighting like a dog. Minute left in the 7th. I think he's ahead in this round, but he can't let it get away from him. Oh, good left hook up top for Artur Beterbiev. And now they trade left hooks, but Anthony Yarde gets off a straight right hand after they trade left hooks, and he pushes Beterbiev back. Yarde is winning this round. Beterbiev comes back and gets Yarde into the corner. Right uppercut lands for Beterbiev. Straight right hand lands for Beterbiev. Yarde forced to just cover up on the ropes and eat some right hands and left hooks to the body. Body work back on the jab for Beterbiev. Beterbiev missing the right hand off the jab, but another left hook to the body by Beterbiev. Yarde comes back with 2 body shots, but better accuracy by Beterbiev to the body. Beterbiev maybe stealing this round in the last 45 seconds. Now Yarde shoots a right uppercut with Beterbiev keeping him on the ropes. Another right uppercut from Yarde. That one short. Good left hook to the body for Yarde, but a good left hook up top for Beterbiev. Beterbiev may have stole that round with that work in the last 45 seconds. Yarde forced to cover up and eat punishment in the corner, but Yarde had the better had the more consistent work. If you want to count all 3 minutes, on my card I gave that round to Yarde. I'll say 67-66 Artur Beterbiev. I could also see 68-65 Artur Beterbiev, but I gave that round to Yarde. Close round though, close round. Could definitely see that round going to the champion, but I got it 4-3 for Artur Beterbiev. I've given rounds 1, 5, and 7 to Yarde. 2, 3, 4, and 6 to the champion Beterbiev. Colin Ruiz says, Sean, your commentary is great. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yarde showing heart, says Ed Tan. Definitely he is. Yeah, closer fight. Looked like Yarde in the 4th round. He was huffing and puffing. It looked like, okay, this fight is headed where we thought it would. But then he found that right hand twice in the 5th round and hurt Beterbiev, and we've had a war since, really. Here we go, round 8. Round 8. 25-21 punch advantage landed for Beterbiev that last round, but a lot of that came in one big flurry. Yarde's punches were more spaced out through the 3 minutes. Oh, good exchange to start in the first 20 seconds. They trade right hands, both guys getting it in. It is 2 lions of the light heavyweight division in there. Ref fixes Yarde's trunks. Here we go. Yarde with the double jab. He hasn't given up on that jab. Beterbiev's out-jabbed him, but Yarde has stayed and committed to his. He jabs twice again, working his levels with it. Beterbiev has been more the counterpuncher. Lands his jab, does Beterbiev, steps out, using his footwork here. Yarde the aggressor. Yarde trying that pull right-hand counter over the top of the jab he studied from Floyd Mayweather. Beterbiev tries to do it right back to him. Both guys falling just short. Beterbiev lands the jab in the center of the ring. Yarde touches him with a straight right hand. Took some power off of it. Yarde measuring with the jab. Eats a hard jab by Artur Beterbiev while he was pawing with his own. Yarde active with that jab. Range finding with it. Sticks it to the body and tries to sweep a right hand up top with Beterbiev on the ropes, but Beterbiev blocked it. Now Beterbiev lands his jab as he moves his feet off the ropes. Yarde investing to the body still. Oh, good straight right hand to punctuate a good exchange by both fighters for Artur Beterbiev. Yarde more active, letting his hands go more a little bit right now. Using the jab. Good jab by Yarde. Oh, straight right hand lands for Artur Beterbiev as Yarde tried to open up with the jab. Down goes Anthony Yarde in round 8. He's fatigued and hurt. Taking deep breaths. Taking the ref's count. 6, 7, 8. He's up at 8. He's badly winded. I don't know how much he really wants to continue. Blood coming from the right side of his face. Ref says, come to me. Body language not looking good for Anthony Yarde. He may have hit the wall. Left uppercut, right hand lands for Artur Beterbiev. Another right hand. Referee stops it. No, the corner steps up and stops it. And Artur Beterbiev collapses to the center of the ring. Gives prayer to the Lord, to God Allah, and as he called him Allah, but Artur Beterbiev is the winner by 8th round TKO in this fight. A hell of a fight. A hell of a stand in the middle of the fight by Anthony Yarde. It looks like he was beginning to wilt in the 4th round, but he made a stand in round 5. He made a great stand in round 7, but he hit the wall. Like I said, he stayed with his jab, but Beterbiev shot the right hand over the jab, landed it on the button. Yarde very badly fatigued. Beat the count, but you could tell by his body language he had enough. Artur Beterbiev steps in with a beautiful combination, splits the guard with a left uppercut, and then sweeps the right hand over the top, sweeps the right hand a couple more times, finishes off Anthony Yarde as the corner had seen enough. But Artur Beterbiev, man, he walked through hell tonight. He is bleeding from his left eye. He's got a lot of damage to his facial tissue on that side, some blood, some cuts, but once again, 19-0. 19 knockouts. He walks through the Lion, Anthony Yarde, who gave a valiant effort, gave us a hell of a fight. Beterbiev, 38, not getting any younger, probably is an underdog at the betting odds with Dmitry Bivol, but hell of a performance by Beterbiev. He is a dog, and he was hurt a couple times by Yarde. Yarde really made a stand, but Beterbiev remains the champion. Great commentary, mate, says Nicky Finn. I appreciate it, brother. Happy you guys enjoyed it. Let me see what's up, chat. Someone mentioned my eyebrows again. They were trimmed a little bit for you this time. Yeah, thank you. Hey, and then shout out to the big man. Thank you, BT. Another great round by our guy Sean. If you guys enjoyed it, please show support and tune in for the next one every time we go live. Well said, exactly. Let's take a look at the recap of some of these highlights. Early on, Beterbiev thought he was getting to Yarde early on, and Yarde began to use his offense as defense. He exchanged. He didn't just try to go into prevent defense, lay on the ropes, and slip everything. He knew he was going to have to exchange to keep Yarde, or to keep Beterbiev respectful, or else he'd get run right over. So when the fight started to get away from him in the fourth round, he made a stand. He planted his feet and placed some hard shots but he stopped throwing get-off-me punches and really placed some hard right hands and really got Artur Beterbiev's attention twice, in the fifth and in the seventh. But Beterbiev, being the true champion he is, buckled down and got through it. Final punch stats: 84 power shots landed for Beterbiev to 75 for Anthony Yarde, but it was really the jab that dictated throughout the fight for Artur Beterbiev. I love that Anthony Yarde never gave up on his jab, even though ultimately that's what he fell victim to. He jabbed when he shouldn't have, and Beterbiev lined him up for the right hand over the top, and that spelled the end of the fight. But you always jab with the jabber. You don't hook with the hooker too much, if at all, but you never give up on your jab, even when the other guy's out jabbing you. So I commend Anthony Yarde for that. But Beterbiev's jab was great. He's got that underrated footwork. He showed tonight that he could walk you into shots like he did with Joe Smith. Not a one-dimensional fighter, Artur Beterbiev. Underrated jab and footwork shown tonight. But I do think that as good as his jab and footwork is tonight, Bivol's is better, and that Bivol can hold his own like Yarde did. Yarde had picked his spots where he held his ground to keep Beterbiev's respect, and he had success in those moments, and I think Bivol can do the same thing, except unlike Yarde, he can out-jab or match the jab of Beterbiev on the outside. I think Bivol's the favorite in that fight. Younger guy, but Beterbiev did his thing. He's the man of the hour. What round was the knockout? Glock won. 8th round knockout. 8th round, yep. Yarde is legit. Will give anybody a tough fight. Yeah, as long as he still can summon again what he did tonight, because sometimes you can't. You get knocked out in a tough championship fight like that, you leave something in that ring. But if Yarde can, because Yarde left whatever he had in the ring pretty much tonight. I thought he improved from performances past. He gave a good showing, man, and I know the United Kingdom always supports their own in defeat when they give a valiant effort, and he deserves it. So let me see what's good referee. Well, it's actually good referee. He saved 5 years of his life. Yeah, but it was actually the corner, I guess, stepped up towards the end, although the ref was thinking about it too. Sean, where does Beterbiev... Colin Ruiz. Sean, where does Beterbiev rank in terms of hardest punching light heavyweights? Well, right away, the guys that come... Bob Foster. I saw who mentioned Bob Foster in the chat right away. Shout out to you. Let me see. Someone mentioned Bob Foster, and I do not want to miss you for that. Well, I apologize. You guys, whoever shouted out Bob Foster, that's the first guy that comes to mind when you think of punchers at light heavyweight. Roy Jones was a pretty goddamn good puncher at light heavyweight. Michael Moore was a devastating puncher at light heavyweight. Southpaw puncher at light heavyweight. Michael Spinks was a good puncher at light heavyweight too. Archie Moore, these guys are almost overlooked as punchers. Archie Moore, because he's such a great fighter overall, but he was a great puncher at light heavyweight. But when I think of punchers, Kovalev in his day was a good puncher at light heavyweight in his prime. But I would say Bob Foster, is the guy that immediately comes to mind when you ask me about knockout artists at light heavyweight. Adonis Stevenson in his day with his left hand was a good puncher, but Bob Foster sticks out as the guy. Tony didn't really do anything at light heavyweight. Tony kind of skipped light heavyweight. That was the down part of his career there in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. And then he reestablished himself at cruiserweight. So I can't really put Tony up there as an all-time puncher at light heavyweight. James Brown said, "Sir, you were really good at commentating. I appreciate that so much, brother." Let's see. Do I favor Bivol beating Canelo at 168? I don't think that fight should happen at 168. I don't expect Canelo to fight him at 168. I think Canelo's a true champ, and if he can't beat him, he can't beat him. He won't try to bring him down to a weight class, even though he has that stuff isn't above A-side fighters in boxing. But no, I think Canelo, if he could get it done, or if he can't, he'll fight Bivol again at 75. Bivol's the favorite, but I'm expecting Bivol to be more comfortable and confident fighting in the bright lights this time, and I expect Bivol to be more loose this time, and I expect Canelo to be better as well. So I'm thinking fight number 2 will be more entertaining than fight number 1, which really wasn't that entertaining. But Bivol is clearly still the favorite. Let me turn this up. Alan Tafoya. Shout out to you, Alan Tafoya. Thank you, brother. Think I got my boxing home base. Beterbiev rules tonight. Good job by Yarde. He showed up. Well said. Dame Sanson asked me about Oshaki Foster against Ray Vargas. Hell of a fight. I know Oshaki's a legit underdog, and he deserves to be. Level of opposition, there's a huge gap between Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas champion at 122, 126. But now he steps up to 130. And Emmanuel Navarrete on the ESPN side is stepping up to 130 to fight Liam Wilson. Oshaki Foster, I think, is the more dangerous opponent than Liam Wilson. But I'm not sleeping on Liam Wilson either tonight, next week. But Oshaki Foster, man, one thing Ray Vargas got away with, same thing with Emmanuel Navarrete a little bit, but in a different way. Ray Vargas at 122 and then 126, he's the tall guy. So dictate range, keep him on the end of the punches. He throws his combinations, and then sometimes, because these guys would be 5'4", 5'5", at 122, 126, he'll throw his shots and then pull out with that chin up, and he gets away with it. The punches fall short because he's so much taller than everybody. Against Oshaki Foster, that's not going to be the case. Oshaki is the first time I can recall Ray Vargas fighting someone taller than him, someone who can match his reach, and is actually taller than him. And Oshaki's a physically strong, natural, hungry 130-pounder. I think that fight's is closer to 50-50 than the books got it. You got to have Ray Vargas as the favorite because he's a proven fighter at the championship level, and Oshaki Foster is not. But part of you is almost like, how did Oshaki get to the number 1 position when you look at the caliber of opponents he has? But he's a talented, hungry fighter, and I could definitely see him upsetting Ray Vargas for that WBC belt next week. I could definitely see it happening. Ray's done plenty to deserve to be the favorite heading into it, but I might be leaning towards Oshaki Foster, but we'll see. He's jumping up several levels against Ray Vargas. His defense will be tested in a way that it never has been. Ray Vargas is a sharp combination puncher. Did Yarde get spanked? Asked mainly electrical. He didn't get spanked. He definitely held his own, gave it a hell of a fight, can return home with his head held up high. I scored 3 rounds for him. I thought he certainly at least won 2 rounds. So either 5 rounds to 2 or 4 rounds to 3, he was trailing, but he was definitely in the fight. Brett Foster, thank you so much, brother, for the kind words. Did Beterbiev show his age tonight? Asked Axon. No, not really. I think I saw the same Artur Beterbiev tonight that I've been seeing. No, I don't. I don't think so. Inevitably, it will. But, this guy hasn't had a whole lot of professional fights, so maybe he saved some wear and tear there. It's a shame that guys like him, we couldn't get them to the States earlier in their careers. Like Golovkin, he made his HBO debut. He's already 30, 31 years old. Same thing with this guy. By the time we really got to look at him in the United States, he was well into his 30s. But he, he looked good to me. He looked like same old Beterbiev to me. Same guy that took out Marcus Brown and Vosdick and Joe Smith. It's just Yarde provided a tougher matchup than Joe Smith did last time out, to his credit. Beterbiev Beterbiev will put everything into the Bivol fight, absolutely, as will Bivol. Beterbiev has shown he can be hurt, though. I think Bivol has the power to hurt Beterbiev. He could walk him into something. Beterbiev, that's going to be a hell of a fight. But I got to give the edge to Bivol's youth. I think he's a little faster. I think he has a little bit better hand speed. I think, and his youth. And so I'll give the edge to Bivol. Let's see here. Let me hear what the wonderful gentlemen at ESPN are talking about. I'm curious what Andre and Timmy are saying. Oh, dang, can I get some audio here? Here, I'll get it right here on my Lerp Terp. Good fight, though. Thank you guys for joining me in the chat. Love doing these round by rounds. I hope you guys are excited for the new Undisputed video game to drop Tuesday. Early access, 8 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time. Join me, man. I plan on going live that day as soon as the game drops. We'll be doing some online fights. Take some requests in the chat if you guys want to see this guy fight this guy. Maybe we could simulate some fights. There'll be create a boxer mode. So maybe day one we could create Floyd, because you know Floyd's not in the official roster. But I'm looking forward to going live Tuesday with you guys to do Undisputed, man. We've been waiting for a great boxing game, and this one, it's early access. It's not fully released yet, but I played the beta. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a hell of a boxing sim. It's headed in the right direction. So join me when we go live with Undisputed. Ant says, thought it was the 29th. No, it turns out it's going to be the 31st. Tiank says, which game? The game's called Undisputed. It's releasing on PC, computer, PC gaming. Releases Tuesday, 8 in the morning, West Coast time, early access. Early access meaning this isn't a final build of the game. It's kind of a glorified demo, kind of. But you could buy it for $30, I believe, and it's our job playing the game to tell them, hey, work on this, you guys got to work on that, I like this, keep this, don't keep that, so that they can iron out and make the game perfect not perfect, but they can make the game better for final release once it hits console. Because, that's when people, the mainstream's really going to jump in, is when it's out on console, PlayStation 5 and Xbox. So yeah. Go Birds, Joey Jiggles. I need a moderator. Who wants to be a moderator in future chats? Ben! Joey Jiggles, we're not here for none of that Philadelphia Eagle bullshit. I'm just kidding, brother. I'm not really like that. The Eagles have a great team. I do think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Purdy, but Purdy, he's got a clutch gene, I think. And if the Niners can protect him, I think he can make some plays for us. But the Eagles deserve to be the slight favorite, but 49ers coming in to take care of business. Scorecards, 2 had Yarde up and 1 had Beterbiev winning. Well, good thing Beterbiev got the stoppage, because I felt like Beterbiev was definitely winning the fight. Yeah, all jokes, Joey Jiggles, you're good. But yeah, oh really? Damn. So they had Yarde up on 2 different cards. I don't know about all that. Man. Let's take a look. Yarde, Beterbiev, scorecards, because Boxing Scene or someone like that might have it up already. But Beterbiev, Yarde, scorecards. Anywhere you could tell me where you find... the broadcast is telling you that's how they had it, right? Alright, well, I can't find the official cards just yet, but... Yeah, that is home cooking. There's no way Yarde was ahead in that fight. The best card Yarde could have had, and I had that card, was 67-66 Beterbiev, but there's no way it could have been 4 rounds to 3 in Yarde's favor. I thought Yarde won the 1st, the 5th, and the 7th, but no way he won any rounds outside of that. It didn't turn out to matter. Sean, who do you think is the smartest boxer right now currently? That's a great question and a tough question to answer. Smart. Terrence Crawford's very smart. Canelo's very smart. Just because Canelo, with those slow feet sometimes can't always find the answer doesn't mean he doesn't know what the answer is. Knowing the answer and executing it are 2 different things. You got to think Tyson Fury's very smart. Gervonta Davis's IQ to me is beginning to jump out and improve. He's becoming more savvy in his last couple fights. Canelo, Fury, Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney is still learning, as such a young fighter, but Devin has great instincts that you kind of can't teach. He does things instinctually, hit and don't get hit. So Haney's definitely up there, and I expect he might be at the top of the list alongside Stevenson in a couple years from now. So yeah, those are some of the guys that come to mind. And of course, Bivol, a very intelligent fighter as well. Bivol's a very smart fighter. Stephen Fulton, very smart fighter. Knows when to punch on the inside, knows how to fight on the outside. So, let's see. Let's go Niners, says the boxing scientist. Yes, sir. Let's go Niners. It's going to be tough. If we didn't drop those awful early games to teams like the Broncos and the Bears, we'd be at home. We'd be up at the Bay for the game. So, if the Niners fall short, I'm going to say that's why, because you got those early games in the beginning of the year bit us in the ass. And so now we got to go up to cold Philly and have to pull one out when we could have beat them at home. So we'll see. Dane Sampson keeps asking what happened to Alex Ariza. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Alex for about 3 years now. Last I saw him, it was a short-lived comeback training camp for Marcos Maidana. Some funny videos up on FightHype if you guys ever want to look them up from back in the day. So no, I don't know what's going on with Alex. One of the last jobs I can recall him doing was the rematch for David Benavidez with Ronald Gavril, where David threw over 1,000 punches in that fight. He threw 100 punches around in some of that fight. So Alex, did a great job for David, and that's maybe the last time I can recall Alex in a big title fight, but had a good run. So yeah, I think not too much. Yo, Fight Hype. Alex was Mr. Royd's smuggler, allegedly. But I'll tell you what, Pacquiao was otherworldly there for a couple of years. From the early part of that welterweight run was very suspicious. I'll admit that, but it is hearsay. It is speculation. It is. So, but I hear you. Has it started? Everything Watkins, you missed it. Beterbiev wins by 8th round TKO. I think we're about to... What, bro? Says you're going to call my Broncos trash. It's not our fault. Russell Wilson got over on us. Our defense is... Yeah, man. Hey, I like the... shot. Got love for the Broncos because they were the first team I ever saw play in the Super Bowl when they went back-to-back with Elway in 97 and 98. So, I always have some love for Denver. But, yeah, man. It's rough. It's rough. You'll be all right. I don't think our coordinator... I'll stop the football talk. The game's tomorrow. Niners NFC title game tomorrow, so forgive me, people. DeMeco Ryans shouldn't go to the Broncos. Go to the Texans, where you're allowed to suck for a year and rebuild and do your thing. So he should not go to Denver. Denver should get Sean Payton. Let's see. I look at Oscar Valdez as a person who could have been a top pound-for-pound fighter had Top Rank secured him the big fights. I think Valdez, Top Rank getting him that Burchelt fight, that was a legacy definer. That's a fight, and it got tainted later in that year because of the phentermine, I think it was, he tested for. But Valdez has been a hell of a fighter for many years. His performance against Burchelt was borderline legendary. His only loss was to Shakur Stevenson, and no shame in that. Held his own in the first half of that fight. Then he knew the fight was getting away from him, so he opened up, tried to take some chances, got countered, got knocked down, and then Shakur coasted to a lopsided win. Valdez, I think, it's tough. He couldn't, the big fight. I think it would have been nice if him and Leo Santa Cruz would have fought at some point, but PBC Top Rank, it just didn't happen. Let's see. Does Purdy have a better chance than Yarde? No, he really does. And I'm not even just saying that as a 49er fan. He totally does, because Anthony Yarde has to go into the ring alone. Brock Purdy gets to step onto the field with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Christian McCaffrey. So he's definitely got a better chance than Anthony Yarde. Good stoppage. He lives to fight again, says Gixxer. I agree. He was done and was only going to take more punishment at that point. Let me see. I think I got another question here. Let me see here. Thought I saw one. Man, let me see here. Bears beat him. Yeah, I know the Bears beat him, Weeden Gonzalez, but that was then. Do you ever hear the song from OFTB, from Death Row? You know? But that was then, and this is now. That was then, and this is now, okay? That was then. Trey Lance. That was then. No Christian McCaffrey. This is now. Big cock Brock Birdie. Big Brock energy. Yes. You know what, goddammit? You know what, Weedy Gonzalez? You know what? You're gonna hold on. No. We're on the road. We're on the road tomorrow. We're on the road. So just for you, Weedy Gonzalez, this is how we're gonna end the stream in a minute. Just for all you 49er, you know what I'm saying, doubters, Eagles fans, all that. Yeah. That's who's gonna be winning tomorrow. Wearing the white and red. Now they won't have the sexy shadow jerseys on like I have right here, but that's who's going to be winning the NFC Championship tomorrow. You better believe it. This Artur Beterbiev and the Eagles Anthony Yarde. No, I'm just kidding. But this was going to happen. So after watching this, I think Bivol beats Beterbiev, says Psycho Fire. Does the ref play a part in the Davis versus Garcia fight? I don't think so. No, it's not a freaking dress, Arthur. I got gray sweatpants on with a gray hoodie, man. It's not a dress. No, I don't think so. I don't think that fight is going to be fought in the phone booth too often. So I don't think so. I think the only way that fight gets needs the ref plays a part is if Ryan is holding excessively when Davis cuts the distance. Maybe he starts to clinch Davis, and Davis at some point in that fight gets frustrated and does something in the clinch that makes the ref warn him. But no, I don't think the ref will matter too much. I think the ref will really matter in the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight. Go check out an interview I had with Steve Cunningham once about Fury and Usyk, where he says the ref's going to be pivotal. If the ref allows Fury to do what he did with Wilder, lean on Wilder, hit him while leaning on him, put him in headlocks sometimes in clinches, then Fury should be able to win. But he says if Usyk is able to get a referee that is quick to break up clinches, quick to break them apart for things like that, then Usyk he thinks will win that fight. So I go check out that interview. Yard had a dress. My bad, Arthur. Forgive me. My bad. Looking good. My bad, Arthur. The GOAT, Jerry. Can't say I don't like him, but the Niner shadow number jerseys are some of my favorite jerseys of all time. Right, Weedy? See, we'll call a truce on the shadow jerseys. They are fly. They're my favorites. The shadow jerseys, the red and the white ones, both of them home and away, and the Miami Dolphins retro unis are, I think, the best. They're the GOATs. I know a lot of people like those old Oiler joints too, but how can we get HBO back into boxing? I don't know, man. We gotta get Jim Lampley on FightHype, don't we? Don't we need a live with your boy Sean and Jim Lampley, right? Jim, if you're watching, be my mentor, man. Teach me the ways. That's not a very good sales pitch. He'd probably say this kid sounds like an idiot, but yeah, man. Playboy says, you can't believe I know that OFTB song. I know it because, okay, you probably see I don't know if you can see it. Where am I to? Oh yeah, we got the Pac plaque hang. Oh, you can't see it. Anyway, there's a Tupac plaque behind me. And so obviously I like Death Row. So I bought Death Row's Greatest Hits. And like the last song on the album was that OFTB song. And I was like, this song is the shit. Yeah. And Tupac had a few songs with them too. All right, I'm babbling at this point. Anything before we get out of here, fellas and ladies? Thanks everybody for joining me. Does Plant win? Asked Marvin Washington. Plant, he's got to keep that fight in the center of the ring. I think Steven Edwards, is a great coach. Wouldn't be surprised if he's able to out-coach Jose Benavidez Sr., but it's the fighters who got to fight. I just think David could get to him in the second half of that fight. David has the hand speed and the jab to make adjustments in that fight. If Caleb's outboxing him in the center of the ring, he has the hand speed and the jab to make adjustments on the fly and to eventually get to Caleb. Because I don't think Caleb will be able to hold up to 12 rounds of combinations from David if David can start to be efficient offensively, start to find him behind the jab, and then eventually get him to the ropes more in the second half of the fight when those legs get heavier. He could be dead meat on the ropes for David Benavidez in the second half of that fight. But I don't count Caleb out. Caleb could box a masterclass with Breadman in the corner. We'll see. But I got to give it to Benavidez as the favorite in that fight. Paul versus Fury. I actually had a breakdown video on that yesterday. I got to give the edge to Jake Paul because Fury doesn't sit down and commit to his shots. And at some point when they time each other up and they exchange, that could get him hurt. He's trying to half-heartedly place the shot and pull out. And meanwhile, Jake is keeping his chin tucked and he's sitting down and committing to the shot. And that could help Jake in the exchanges. But if Tommy Fury works on a few things, he's got faster hands than Jake Paul. He has a better jab than Jake Paul. And he has better foot speed than Jake Paul. Those are all very important things in his favor. He's got to find his nuts, because Jake Paul, whether you like him or not, has shown some tenacity. He's shown some tenacity. He was able to drop Anderson Silva in the 8th round with a right hand. He walked through a dozen uppercuts by Silva that night. He took a hard right hand by Tyron Woodley in the first fight. I haven't even seen Tommy Fury get hit by these really, really low-level fighters he's been facing. I mean, his combined opponent's record is something like 26 wins and 245 losses. It's atrocious. So I got to give the edge to Jake Paul. But Tommy Fury did himself a favor by getting this fight overseas instead of fighting in America. That always helps. And again, he's got the foot speed, the hand speed, and the jab to put together something to beat Jake Paul. But he looks very reticent in the ring. He doesn't look as comfortable as Jake does. Jake plants his feet when he lets his shot go. Fury's too worried about what's coming back to commit to the shot. So we'll see. Jake Paul smoking Tommy Fury. Easy work. Damn. Whew. Damn. Like the one guy who was 796 and won on the card. Hey, Weedy Gonzalez. One thing about Daryl Sharp, though. Daryl Sharp, and I tweeted this on my Twitter. The one thing about Daryl Sharp is he proved the statement correct today that you could find something nice or positive to say about any man that steps in the ring. Because that man has 97 fucking losses with 7 fucking wins. And his defense was pretty decent. He didn't get touched that much in a professional 18-minute fight for 6 rounds with a guy who was 6'7". He's chiseled. He's got a nice body. He's all fat and shit. But he couldn't hit him for 6 rounds. So let's keep things in perspective. We hold these guys. We nitpick relative to the level of expectation we have of them. Obviously, we're going to nitpick Artur Beterbiev for his defense more than we're going to nitpick Daryl Sharp at 7-96. We're going to give Daryl Sharp the credit we wouldn't give Artur Beterbiev if they were fighting the same fight. But Daryl Sharp tonight proved you could say something nice about any fighter. And on the contrary, you could maybe find something bad to say about just about any fighter's performance, although there are a few that are just perfect. And there's nothing bad to say. But yeah, shout out to Daryl Sharp, man. Shout out to Daryl Sharp. Janabek versus Liam Smith. Good fight. That's a good fight, Dame Sampson. Bam versus Estrada. I'll go Bam. I think the young man's time is coming and Estrada's time is passing. That doesn't mean if they fought tomorrow that Bam would win. But I think if and when, because I do think it's when, they will fight at some point. That fight sells tickets. And, that's what Eddie Hearn's in it for, having both guys signed. So I think that'll be a handing of the torch fight, and I think Bam will win if and when that fight ever happens. Rolly versus Sean Zattel, loser goes bald. Why do you want me to go bald so bad? Rolly's my guy. He would win that fight, but he would never do that to me. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't want to see the long hair go. And I found out something about Rolly Romero. Interesting cat. A 3-dimensional person is Rolly Romero. More layers than you may think beyond the jokes. Rolly, turns out, he's a Niner fan, along with Coach Bullet. So, find out something new about people you cover every day. Been covering Rolly for years. I didn't know he was a 49er fan. That he just went up more in my book. Loma versus Haney. Haney. Lomachenko is still a very good fighter, but, his best days are past him. Devin Haney's best days are in front of him. Lomachenko started his career as a champion at 126. Devin has been at 135 his whole career. He's going to be a full-fledged welterweight one day. He's got the foot speed and athleticism to not let Lomachenko's footwork get him out of position, and take advantage of it for Loma. He's got that length behind the jab to keep Loma on the outside and see him coming in. I got to go with Haney. Broly, one of the coolest fighters out there. Y'all just... No, he is. He's a super fucking cool dude. He is. Let's see. Bang Bang Niner Gang, take over boxing 101. I do more the faithful thing, I saw an interview on Vlad TV with one rapper. He himself was a 49er fan, but he was clowning 49er fans. He said, "Where's this Bang Bang Niner Gang coming from?" He goes, "I've always known you guys as the faithful." He said, "The 49er fans I know are, oh, is this your seat? Here, go ahead. It's my seat, but go ahead, take it. Go ahead. You can take my seat if you'd like." He's like, they're the faithful. They're not hard like that traditionally, the 49er fans. This isn't a fan base like the Steelers or the Bears or the Giants, with that cold weather and that rah-rah. We're classy. We're the 49er faithful. So, and I joke around too, because I'll keep it real. When they're 2-14 and I'm not watching that shit, because it says in the stadium when you go to the game, faithful then, faithful now. And I always joke around, faithful then when they were good, and faithful now that they're good again. Because as you get grown, man, you don't got time to be... The Knicks, I had my Knicks sweater on. They're doing their thing a little bit above 500, but them years, once Carmelo went south and we hired Phil Jackson, I wasn't watching that bullshit. So anyways, Usyk versus Big Baby. Anderson... Well, Big Baby's too green right now, but and Big Baby Anderson has been a little reckless defensively lately, and it's been fun to watch. He's been getting early knockouts. He's been showing beautiful fluidity offensively, but he might need to get tagged soon to just to keep respect for what's coming back his way. I think he's a guy who has the talent to sharpen things up on the defensive side. He just hasn't been that concerned with it lately. He's too green for Usyk. I would like the Johnny Rice fight, who won on ESPN recently. I'd like that fight for Jared Anderson. I think he'd win that fight. How would Pac and Loma have matched up at 26 and 30? Pacquiao. Lomachenko didn't have the both guys fast, southpaws, but Pacquiao longer arms than Lomachenko, and just a better puncher than Lomachenko. And Lomachenko has great hand speed, but Pacquiao is faster. So Pacquiao's a little faster, punches much harder, throws more punches per round. He's not a slow starter like Lomachenko. He's off when the gun goes off for the track run to start. Pacquiao's out there like a track star, and he could do it for all 12. Pacquiao would have won that fight, in my opinion. And Lomachenko, he scratches the surface of the all-time greats at 130, meaning he deserves to sit at the table with Morales, Barrera, Marquez, Mayweather, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Manny Pacquiao at 130, and on. But I don't think he would have beaten any of those guys. Maybe Barrera. I think he probably would have beat Barrera, because maybe he would have beat Barrera. Maybe, because the physical size. Barrera was kind of small. But I don't think he would have beat El Terrible Morales. I don't think he would have beat Marquez. I don't think he would have beat Floyd Mayweather. I don't think he would have beat Pacquiao. So, but I do think he's of that caliber. I do think he deserves to be in that range at 130. Junior N said Bengals 26, 49ers 21, final score of the Super Bowl. You must think this is... You got that backwards. You must think this is 1982 when the Niners beat them 26-21 for that first Super Bowl for Joe Cool. He could sit at the kids' table. Damn. He could sit at the table, Hey, Ben, inevitably, at all those tables where the greats sit. Someone's the weakest link. He's still a bad motherfucker, but someone's got to be the weakest link. When all the NBA legends sit around, when all the NFL legends sit, when the boxing legends sit around, they all deserve to sit at the table, but some are greater than others. And I think Lomachenko showed me enough at 130, I would say, to sit at the table, but he just gets in there. That's how I see it. Fantasy fight, Dempsey, Marciano. There's not really a whole lot of tape on. I mean, there's some tape on Jack Dempsey. We knocked out Carpentier or through the ropes, and or got knocked out through the ropes, got up and knocked him out. And there's some tapes of the Gene Tunney fight. I'll go Marciano. Kids table. You guys are savage. Maybe I'm just too nice. Shakur versus Salvador Sanchez. I'm gonna go at 126. I'm gonna go Salvador. At 126, I'm gonna go Salvador Sanchez because Shakur was a still inexperienced fighter at 126. He won the WBO belt at 126, and Sanchez never got to fight at 130. That car crash took his life. So you in this hypothetical, it's got to be at 26, right? And at 26, he beat Azuma Nelson, he beat Wilfredo Gomez and Danny Little Red Lopez and a host of others. So I'd have to go with Sal at 26. He was just a complete fighter, better combination puncher than Shakur. Shakur would sharpshoot him down the pipe. Sal would have to eat leather, but I think Sal's work rate, his footwork, his all-aroundness, I think would have been too much for Shakur at featherweight because Shakur was still getting ready at featherweight. Shakur was better at 130 than at featherweight. Just look at his resume compared to the ones at the adult table. You got a point, man. Like, that's why I was like, I believe he sits at 130. Eye test-wise, he was pretty damn good. I think that was his peak, 130. He was pretty damn good at 130. But he never unified at 130. So you might be right. Tip Bayless. What's up? What's up, Tip Bayless? My man. What's up, Sean? Yarde put up a hell of a fight. Indeed he did. I thought he won 3 out of those 7. I had Beterbiev up 67-66. Yarde hurt him a couple times in the 5th and the 7th, but ultimately Beterbiev's the man of the hour, still the unified, reigning, legitimate, lineal light heavyweight champion of the world, although I do think he'd be at a slight underdog to Bivol. I think Vegas will have Bivol a favorite. Let's see here. He's in the same room. At least you have him in the same room, right? At least he's in the cafeteria. At least he gets out at the same class period they do and goes to the same lunch. Davis versus Marquez at 135. Marquez. Davis doesn't throw enough punches. From what I've seen, Juan Manuel Marquez at lightweight was the champ. He knocked out Joel Casamayor to become lightweight champion. He knocked out Baby Bull Diaz. He had a hell of a run at lightweight. I don't think Davis throws enough punches to eventually bank on hurting and knocking out Marquez. Marquez was as tough as they come. Here's what I think would have happened, right? Davis drops Marquez. Marquez gets up and proceeds to win the fight. That's how I think that fight would have went between Davis and Marquez. How a lot of fights went for Juan Manuel Marquez. That would have been a great fight, but Davis hasn't shown me enough in terms of letting his hands go round after round. He's gotten away with taking his time, giving rounds away, and then eventually sizing the guy up, lining him up, becoming very accurate, and then stopping him with that blend of power, speed, and accuracy. But I think he'd let too many rounds get away from him from Marquez, and he's not gonna get Marquez out of there with one shot. So I would have gave that edge to Juan Manuel Marquez at 35. Same thing with Pacquiao. Someone asked Pacquiao versus Tank at 35. Pacquiao. Tank's not gonna knock Pacquiao out with one shot, not in my eyes. He didn't knock out Hector Garcia with one shot. He hit him with 50 or 60 shots before that last left hand was too much for Garcia to take. So I give the edge to the legends. These are all-time legends we're talking about. So no disrespect to Tank, who's clearly one of the best fighters, pound for pound right now. But yeah, I'm not picking him over Pacquiao or Marquez at 35. Tank got knocked down by Santa Cruz. Weedy, that wasn't a knockdown, though. He was being pushed back, and no shot landed clean anywhere. I thought the ref was right to not call it a knockdown. Mike Tyson lost with all that power. Power is not everything. Yeah, and Mike at his peak had head movement and defense and hand speed too to go along with punching power. Damn, you hate Tank. I don't understand how you could deduct that I hate Tank when I said he's one of the best fighters pound for pound today, just because I don't pick him to beat two of the greatest fighters that ever lived in the last, or definitely two of the best fighters in the last 30 years, 40 years. You know, he's got to prove that. You got to beat other Hall of Famers for me to start picking you to beat Hall of Famers in some hypotheticals, you know. And when it's all said and done, he may very well be able to do that. So we'll see. Thurman versus Spence. Thurman's best shot. Thurman best shot, kind of like Anthony Yarde did. Anthony Yarde kind of went for once Beterbiev was beginning to avalanche on him. He went for broke a little bit. He let go of everything he had, and instead of dying the slow death and losing round after round, he made it a gunfight. Eventually got put out in the 8th, but he made it he went down swinging. He was very competitive while it lasted. I think that's Keith Thurman's best shot. He has to be realistic with himself. Having fought once in 3 years, he never had a great gas tank stamina anyways. He's not going to beat Errol Spence over 12 rounds. Spence only gets better as the fight goes along. He invests to the body as consistently as anybody. So he's not going to beat Errol Spence over 12. He's got to try to catch him early in the first 6 rounds. Let Spence be aggressive and walk him into some stuff. And see if you could hurt him and change the complexion of the fight early. But Spence, everyone, the consensus, you talk to anybody who watches their boxing, the consensus is going to be Spence stops him late in the fight, maybe to the body, possibly by body work, accumulation. So Spence, let's see. Ant McQueen is funny, right? Tank would kill Juan Manuel Marquez. Floyd schooled Juan Manuel Marquez. Tank isn't Floyd. I mean, Floyd beat 20 Hall of Famers. You know, Floyd is arguably the best fighter pound for pound ever, you know, and definitely the best pound for pound fighter of the last 20 years. Definitely post Roy Jones. You could definitely argue he was better than Roy Jones. He had a better career when it was all said and done than Roy and Jones. Peak of their powers, it's a close argument. Pacquiao's up there too. But he's not as active as Floyd. He's a better puncher than Floyd, but he's not the defensive fighter Floyd is. He doesn't have the jab Floyd Mayweather had. He doesn't have the long arms and the height that Floyd Mayweather had. Floyd Mayweather was able to piece up welterweights and junior middleweights. Tank, you know, has fought once at 140. He's not Floyd. He's Tank Davis. You know, he's good on defense, good on offense. Great power, great speed, great coordination. But until you know you face other Hall of Fame fighters, it's a bit much to say, oh, he would school Juan Manuel Marquez, he would knock Juan Manuel Marquez out. Marquez is a devastating counterpuncher. He couldn't knock out Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz is no Juan Manuel Marquez. And I know Tank injured his hand halfway through that fight, but and boxed well with his right hand, with that brick hand being hurt. He boxed well and won that fight, but I you know, it's all hypothetical at the end of the day. So if you think Tank would have beat Juan Manuel Marquez, that's fine. You think he would have beat him, but to say Tank would beat Marquez because Floyd beat Marquez is illogical. Floyd is a bigger man than Tank. He's faster than Tank is fast, but Floyd was even faster. Floyd was impossible to hit at that moment in time, pretty much. So, So that's kind of disrespectful to Floyd Mayweather. Actually, you're framing it like I'm being disrespectful to Tank, but you kind of disrespected Floyd by just saying, you know, a guy who's won 2 world titles is on the level of a guy who's won literally almost 20 in 5 divisions and beaten, you know, over a dozen Hall of Famers. But it is what it is. It's just opinion at the end of the day. It's hypothetical fights. Let's see here. Let's see. Who do I think would win, Xander Zayas or Brian Mendoza? Good question. Brian Mendoza got that knockout recently with that big left hook. He's been training with Ismail Salas. Talented, athletic kid who lost some fights early in his career, but is back on it and doing well. That'd be a hell of a step-up fight for Xander Zayas right now. That'd be a hell of a step-up fight for Xander. I think Xander would still win. I'm very high on Xander. But that would be a hell of a step-up fight for Xander, because that's not an old guy, that's not a faded guy, that's not a little guy. Brian's a young, athletic, in his prime fighter. So I would love that fight, Xander Zayas and Brian Mendoza. Let's see here. All right, but that, just about done. Looks like we're fizzling out here. Yeah, Mendoza loses. Yeah, I'd have to favor Xander, but it'd be a hell of a step up fight for him. I would love to see that fight, Brian Mendoza and Xander Zayas. Canelo versus Hagler. Oh, I got to give the edge to Hagler, Adrian Bentecourt. Although Canelo is more explosive than Hagler. He is a little more explosive. He might be a touch faster than Marvin Hagler. And Marvin was a middleweight when middleweights were middleweights, when you weighed in the same day. I don't even know if Marvin would be a 160-pounder in today's boxing. He might be a 154-pounder. He was only 5'9", so he's not a bigger guy than Canelo. There's no real size advantage there. I think Canelo's a little bit more explosive than Marvin, but Canelo has stamina issues. And them old school fighters, they knew certain tricks that just aren't around today. We'd have to watch tape together to say them. For one, they were so much more consistent with their jab, but I think Canelo's stamina issues would bite him in the ass against Marvin as that fight progressed. Not early. Marvin would have to be careful putting that pressure on coming forward, but Marvin had a great jab that people don't talk enough about. I think Marvin's superior conditioning, his jab, I think Marvin would have won a decision against Canelo. But not an easy fight for Marvin Hagler. I could see Hagler walking into the counters from Canelo. Canelo being a little bit more explosive and walking Hagler into stuff. I think Hagler would switch it up. He'd box some. Then when he senses Canelo's taking his breathers, that's when he'd take it to him and bust him up. But I think Hagler would win a decision. But I don't. Canelo. You don't just scoff at Canelo's chances. Duran versus Mayweather. Oof. I think at 135, Duran would have beat Mayweather based on what we saw from Floyd in the two Castillo fights, because people forget, man, when people go, yeah, but then the second fight with Castillo, man, he just dominated him. No, go look at the scorecards and go rewatch that fight. That was a competitive fight. Floyd definitely won. And I actually think the first fight was a draw. There was a couple of point deductions in key rounds, depending how you scored it. Thought that first fight was a draw and that Floyd won the second fight. But Castillo gave Floyd hell in those two fights. And we're talking 135. Duran was a monster at 135. I think he definitely could have took Castillo's success a step further and beat Mayweather at 135. At welterweight, I think Floyd beats Duran. Although the Duran that fought Leonard in fight number 1 in Canada was a motherfucker. So Duran might have beat Floyd that night too. But to answer your question, 147 Floyd, 135 Duran. That's how I'd see it. Artur, Sean, best fight at light heavyweight in 2023 is Bivol and Beterbiev. Easy question, easy answer. But I don't think we're going to get it because Bivol has that Canelo rematch to sort out first. So I don't think we get it this year, unfortunately. I think you got to understand, Canelo, the pound-for-pound king, now former pound-for-pound king. He takes precedent. He gets dibs on his rematch, and will have to be put on hold for undisputed at 75. So here we go. Let's see. Compare Inoue and Pacquiao's style. Different styles. Pacquiao's unorthodox. He's a southpaw. He breaks rules, makes wrong right. Inoue is more fundamentally sound with his positioning, his balance. He doesn't get off balance like Pacquiao. Inoue is very athletic, very gifted, not as gifted and as athletic as Pacquiao. Pacquiao was really extraordinary with his gifts. Pacquiao had faster feet than him, but Inoue does have good athletic feet as well. Inoue is just a more textbook fighter. Pacquiao was more unique. He was more one of a kind in his approach. Inoue is just extremely strong puncher with very, very, very good hand speed, elite hand speed, great balance. He has better balance than Pacquiao, but Pacquiao was even more dynamic than he was. He was faster than him. He was a better combination puncher. He was more active. He was trickier with his movement. But Inoue is a more fundamentally sound fighter than Pacquiao was. And yeah, but Inoue, he has some of that Pacquiao element to him, where if there's just times in the fight where that mixture of power and speed is going to overwhelm the opponent. So yeah. Let's see here. Hey, it's Susan Boyle. Hello, Susan Boyle. Shout out to you. I had a discussion with a friend. Do we have better boxers now or in the old times? Not hating on any era. Yeah, it's tough. We'd have to sit down and watch tape together. But yeah, I think. Look, they fought more often back then, and they fought 15 rounds. There were better trainers back then. There's less great There's still some great trainers around, but there were more great trainers back then. The USA amateur boxing system was so much stronger than it was now. So it's not hating to maybe guess that this era isn't as strong as eras past. But then there's the people who think with sports technology, athletes just get more and more athletic and explosive as time goes on across the board. Someone asked me about Canelo and Hagler. Canelo's more explosive than Hagler was in the 80s, but I would still pick Hagler to win that fight. He has a better gas tank. Guys had better gas tanks back then. I think they were made of stone mentally and physically. They were willing to take any chances necessary to win the fight. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, let's go ahead and finish then. Greetings from Monterey Park. Shout out to Monterey Park in the house. Bam Rodriguez versus Chocolatito. Chocolatito did not look good in that last fight with Estrada. I think Bam would beat him. And that's about it. Fight finish. I'd like to see Jared Anderson versus Frank Sanchez at heavyweight. I'd favor Anderson, but he'd have to tighten things up because Frank Sanchez would counterpunch him and would make him think twice on defense more than he has been lately. That'd be a tough fight for Jared Anderson, but I think Jared is a puncher and has a true heavyweight's temperament. He's not timid at all, so he'll get in there and exchange. But he has the fluidity of upper body to swim without getting wet, and he hasn't been worried about getting wet really on the offensive side. It hasn't had to pay for it yet. I think if he keeps fighting the way he does, someone like Johnny Rice could at least zap him once or twice to make him remember to stay defensively responsible at 100%. So we'll see. But I think we'll call it on that, everybody. Thank you everyone so much for joining. Be on the lookout Tuesday for when the Undisputed Beta drops live. I can't wait to play that with you guys and really take off running once Undisputed Early Access drops. I think we could have a lot of fun with that game. We've been waiting on a great boxing game since Fight Night Champion in 2011. So thank you everybody for joining. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Please keep it locked in here on FightHype.com. Keep it locked in for all my live round by rounds, my recaps. We call it Z-caps. My last name is Zattel. And keep it locked in for all the content. I got interviews coming. I got an interview with Tim Zhu set to drop soon. Some more stuff with Rolly Romero we got to drop. And hoping to get in the gym with Caleb Plant soon. I'll call my man David Benavidez. We'll talk to both of those guys in the lead up to their fight. And keep getting more fighters, more interviews, more content. Keep it locked in the boxing world right here. Thank you, everyone. Oh. How did Beterbiev end it? He ended it on the left uppercut and then sweep the right. He didn't throw a straight right hand. He didn't throw a hook either. He kind of did that triple G sweeping right hand. He said, bah,